Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English along with Riesa Pascal. It seems like that work-life balance may seem impossible in our fast-paced workaholic world. And the reason is why we may be doing it, well, incorrectly. Life balance expert Dr. Parry says that there are actually some common myths that we need to have and be aware of in order to achieve a perfect balance. Dr. Parry, we welcome you to the show. And you say that there are these three myths of balance that we all have to deal with. I want to kind of go through everything. Now, the first one, I think women are a little bit better than men at doing this, but you say doing everything at the same time is going to actually keep us balanced. Explain that to me.
Yeah, actually, the myth is that doing everything at the same time actually keeps us from being balanced because we tend to think we can do multiple things at a time, high brain wave activities. Psychologists call this actually switch tasking.
Okay.
And, it's a myth. You can't actually multitask doing high brainwave activities. Can we do low brainwave like walk and chew gum? Sure. I can move my hands while I'm talking right now. But if I'm trying to write an email while I'm doing this interview, it's going to bail.
the email or this interview is going to suffer for sure. The next myth is that productivity is like a magic pill just by doing things. Tell us more.
Productivity tends to be the solution to, the multitasking myth by, being really productive with our time during the day. We all want to be productive.
Certainly.
We want to be very efficient, right? But the reality is I, have trained dozens and dozens of business owners who said, well, Travis, this is great. I'm down from 85 to 45 hours, but what's to keep me from, just building that back up now that I'm super productive? And the reality is you got to have boundaries.
Okay.
You need to be able to have boundaries outside of work, things that you love doing, like exercise, fun and rec, time with your family, time to be spiritual. And quite honestly, those are the priorities in life that keep us from doing everything at the same time. And when they are put on an ideal calendar for us and we follow that, then life outside of work is just as good, if not better.
All right. Well, you say that personal development is the end all be all is a huge myth. And what do you mean by that?
So what I've found is that through this journey of trying to get out of what I call the workaholic trap, we have a do-it-all who tries to get everything done and realizes, well, gee, I just need to, have better priorities. Or you're a productive workaholic. Well, I just need to set boundaries. The boundaries tend to be around the personal sides of our life. So we go all in, right? People like this, they go all in after things. Yeah. Well, they go all in after personal development and they leave their spouse and their family out of the equation.
Okay.
Which blows my mind because any addiction, workaholism is an addiction. It's the DSM-5. Check it out. Any addiction requires that once you're through a system, a process, you need to have family, spousal support.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to then bring along your spouse, bring along a family member, someone who can keep you accountable, can support you in your new lifestyle, and that you don't go back and fall off the wagon.
All right, we got to talk about these three truths that you have, what we focus on. First off is priorities. That seems like a given, right? But go expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I talked about this just briefly, but really priorities in our lives, we have 10 areas of life. We can break them all down different ways, but really we know what they are. And if we're not spending time or making time for them, we tend to have cognitive dissonance, this sense of psychological, imbalance in our mind that, gee, I really want to be going to the gym. I really should be healthier, but you're not making the time for it. Okay. Or I really need to be home for my kids more, but I'm working till 7 every night or 8. What does that do to us? Well, it causes consistent stress buildup over time. That stress is subconscious. It can then turn into, long-term effects, not, considering the short-term effects with like relationships and other things, but long-term effects in our bodies. And over the course of our lifetime, we look back and say, well, gee, did I just go to work and, hit the clock and do real well? Or did I live my life?
I want to make sure we get these other two. Boundaries, which you already made mention of, and couple development. What's the best and easiest way for couples to work together on becoming a balanced family?
Yeah. So boundaries are huge and couple development goes right with that. Talk with your spouse, talk with your family, make sure that you have time for them,
Yeah.
right? They typically are your highest priority. I do this test every day. Family, spouse, they're right at the top, along with your health. But make sure you actually have time management with your family. Have a calendar.
It seems like maybe just having a personal inventory every day. Have I done this? Physically saying, have I done this? Have I done this? And then this checklist. That's what works for me. Find out what works with you. This is all great information, Doctor. We thank you so much for joining us. Now, if you want more information or actually get a copy of Dr. Parry's book, it's called Achieving Balance, something we all need. Just head to travisperry.com. Thank you, Dr. Parry. Appreciate it.